On a quiet night in Toronto, a desperate 911 call brought police rushing to a family home. Inside, they found a horrifying scene. A young woman was crying. Her mother was dead. Her father was fighting for his life. The daughter, Jennifer Pan, told investigators that armed intruders had broken into her home and attacked her family. At first, everyone believed her. She was seen as a traumatized daughter who had survived a nightmare, but as detectives looked deeper into the case, they noticed something strange. Small details didn't add up. The story Jennifer told that night was not the full truth, and what investigators eventually uncovered would shock an entire country. Because behind the image of a perfect daughter was a secret that nobody saw coming. To everyone around her, Jennifer Pan seemed like the perfect daughter. She grew up in Markham, Ontario, in a family that valued hard work, education, and success. Her parents, Bich and Huei Hann, had worked hard to build a better future for their children. They wanted Jennifer to have opportunities they never had. From the outside, Jennifer appeared to be living the life her parents hoped for. She was polite, responsible, and seemed focused on creating a successful future. But behind that image, there was a growing pressure. Jennifer was struggling to meet the expectations placed on her. And slowly, a gap began to form between the life her family believed she was living and the reality she was hiding. At first, these differences seemed small, but over time, they would become a secret that changed everything. From the outside, Jennifer Pan still appeared to be living the life everyone expected. But behind closed doors, things were very different. The future her parents believed in was slowly becoming harder for Jennifer to maintain. She had spent years trying to meet their expectations, but the pressure continued to grow. Instead of admitting that things were not going as planned, Jennifer began hiding the truth. Small lies became bigger lies. The image of success she showed to her family was becoming more difficult to protect. During this time, Jennifer also began a relationship with Daniel Wong, someone who represented a different life away from the strict expectations at home. To the people around her, Jennifer seemed to be balancing school, family, and her future. But behind that appearance, she was living between two completely different worlds. One was the life her parents believed she had. The other was the reality she was trying to keep hidden. And eventually, keeping those two worlds separate would become impossible. On the night of November 8, 2010, everything changed inside the Pan family home in Markham, Ontario. According to Jennifer's story, she was in the house when armed intruders suddenly entered. She told investigators that strangers had broken into the home, tied up her family, and turned an ordinary night into a nightmare. When police arrived, they found a devastating scene. Jennifer's mother had been killed, and her father was seriously injured. Jennifer survived, and at first, investigators saw her as the only person who could explain what happened. Her story seemed to describe a random act of violence, a family home attacked, a daughter who escaped, a tragedy that shocked the community. But as detectives began looking closer, they noticed details that did not fit perfectly. Some parts of the story raised questions, small inconsistencies, unanswered details, things that made investigators look deeper. Because sometimes, the hardest mysteries are not about finding out what happened. They are about discovering whether the story you were told was the truth. As investigators carefully reviewed Jennifer's account, they began noticing details that didn't fit. The timeline raised questions. Some of Jennifer's statements were inconsistent with the physical evidence. Then came the phone records. Investigators discovered repeated contact between Jennifer and people connected to the case, both before and after the attack. What first appeared to be random started looking increasingly organized. Detectives also noticed that Jennifer's behavior during interviews was unusually calm at certain moments. Individually, none of these details proved anything. But together, they painted a very different picture. As the evidence continued to grow, investigators reached a conclusion they never expected. Jennifer was no longer being treated only as a surviving witness. She had become the focus of the investigation. And the truth they uncovered would reveal that this tragedy had not unfolded the way everyone first believed. The investigation ultimately revealed a very different version of events. Prosecutors argued that the attack had not been a random home invasion. Instead, they presented evidence that it had been carefully planned. Investigators concluded that the young woman they had first viewed as the only surviving witness had played a central role in the case. Multiple people were arrested, and the case moved to trial. During the proceedings, prosecutors presented phone records, witness testimony, and other evidence that they believed connected the defendants to the crime. One fact proved especially significant. Jennifer's father had survived. His testimony became an important part of the investigation and the trial that followed. In 2014, Jennifer Hann and several co-defendants were found guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder. They received life sentences, with no possibility of parole for 25 years under the law at the time. Years later, parts of the legal process continued through appeals, but the case remains one of Canada's most well-known criminal investigations. What began as a story about the perfect daughter became a reminder that appearances can be deeply misleading. Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is that the person everyone trusted may have been living an entirely different life all along. If you enjoyed this journey through history, consider subscribing for more stories about the people, events, and mysteries that shaped our world. Thanks for watching.